Have you ever found yourself staring out the window a quiet moment and suddenly a thought just hits you? Like a soft but firm tap on the shoulder from the universe. It's the realization that there comes a time when you truly can't lean on anyone else, not your children, not your siblings, not even your closest friends. It's one of the toughest truths we confront as we gracefully move through life. The emotional and practical support we once took for granted, the easy familiarity with our loved ones, it can start to shift, fade, or sometimes just disappear. Your kids are busy building their own lives. Your brothers and sisters are dealing with their own health journeys. Friends move away, get sick, or heartbreakingly pass on. 2 Schneiderju hefty as the subschusseur to keep the patient. And then there you are with that quiet question echoing in your mind, who is truly here for me? That question can feel like a sudden jolt, like stepping into a cold shower if you're not prepared. But here's the wonderful, empowering news, you can be ready. In fact, you can build a life, especially as you navigate your terraces and beyond, that feels strong, confident, and incredibly resilient, regardless of who stays and who moves on. This isn't about bitterness, it's about wisdom. Because genuine support, the kind you can truly lean on in the middle of the night or on a quiet, lonely afternoon, often doesn't come from family. It comes from 5 other profound sources that most people only discover when it's almost too late. These 5 elements are the true bedrock of a peaceful, independent life after teasers. They are quiet, yet immensely powerful forms of support that simply will not let you down. With them, you won't feel that distance, you won't feel like a burden. So stay with me, because what I'm about to share might just completely transform your perspective, on aging and reveal just how incredibly strong you already are. Now, let's dive in. First off, physical mobility. When you're in your terraces, the ability to move freely and independently isn't just about walking. It's about freedom, about dignity. And in so many ways, it's the most crucial support system that depends on absolutely no one else. Physical mobility means you can get out of bed without help, that you can warm up a meal for yourself, reach for your favorite mug in the cupboard, or simply step out the door and breathe in the morning air without waiting for someone to assist you. This strength, this control over your own life is profound. And what's especially vital is that it's a form of emotional support almost no one talks about, because it gives you confidence and dramatically reduces fear. When you can move, you fear being a burden less. But let's be honest, being mobile after 70 doesn't mean running marathons or doing backflips. It means cherishing your joints, maintaining your balance, and keeping your muscles toned enough to trust your own 2 feet. Small habits like a gentle morning stretch, a 15-minute walk each day, or light resistance band exercises can change absolutely everything, and it is never too late to start. Many believe that losing mobility is inevitable, but it simply isn't true. On the contrary, the more you move, the more your body strives to maintain that ability. Your body listens to your actions, not your age. On a psychological level, mobility helps conquer a deep-seated fear. Most older adults harbor a fear of helplessness. When the body becomes dependent, the mind often starts to contract too. You begin to doubt yourself, stop planning outings, decline invitations not because you're uninterested, but because you're afraid you won't manage. That isn't aging, it's a shrinking of life, and it doesn't have to be this way. Take, for instance, my friend Eleanor, a 78-year-old woman I often see walking in her vibrant neighborhood in Pasadena. She does laps around the block every single day, rain or shine, with a cane. I once asked her why she put in so much effort, and she just smiled and said, "Because the moment I stop walking, I start waiting for someone to help me, and darling, I don't want to wait. I want to live." Her mobility is far from perfect, but it's hers, and it gives her a profound sense of peace. She still drives herself to the grocery store, visits friends for Sunday brunch, and proudly climbs the 3 steps to her front porch. Not because someone built her a ramp, but because she simply refused to stop. The reality is this: when you invest even a little in your body, It repays you with a freedom most people only truly appreciate when it's gone. Your family might not always be there to drive you to the doctor or help you up after a stumble. But if your legs are strong, your core stable, and your balance reliable, you can postpone those needs. You can maintain your independence longer than anyone might expect. And that is the very form of support that provides confidence, not just physical, but profoundly emotional. So if you've been feeling a bit stiff or weak lately, that's perfectly okay. Don't scold yourself. Just start exactly where you are. Do a little more today than you did yesterday. Stretch while your coffee brews. Walk down the hallway one more time, because every small effort builds something monumental, your own reliable pillar. A pillar that will walk right alongside you every single step of the way, regardless of who else is walking beside you. Secondly, financial simplicity. When you're past tissues, peace of mind doesn't really come from how much money you have in the bank. It comes from a clear understanding of what you need, what you can manage, and how to live within your means without fear or shame. Financial simplicity is one of the strongest pillars you can lean on, and one of the few you can completely control without anyone else's involvement. Understand as complicated finances become an emotional burden. Multiple bank accounts, dozens of subscriptions, credit card confusion, it's not just exhausting, it erodes your confidence and your sense of stability. And in older age, stability isn't just comfort, it's survival. Because no matter how much your loved ones care, they can't fix financial chaos. But a clear, simple plan can guide you through even the toughest times, like a dependable cane for your soul. And here's what many people miss. Simplifying your finances isn't about giving up control. It's actually about gaining it. It's about creating a modest lifestyle that suits you, not someone else. It's the freedom to buy what you need without counting every single penny. It's like clearing out an old cluttered closet. Once everything is in order, your mind finally relaxes. On a psychological level, financial simplicity removes one of the biggest sources of anxiety in later life: uncertainty. Many older adults lie awake at night, tormented by questions like, will my savings last? What if I need a caregiver someday? Can I afford it? These worries plague people more intensely than physical pain. But when you know where your money is going, when your spending is conscious, and your basic needs are covered without struggle, you sleep more soundly, walk with more confidence, and feel more grounded. Let me tell you about my neighbor, Mrs. Henderson. She's a 74-year-old widow who used to be a librarian. After her husband passed, she met with a financial advisor and made a deliberate choice to simplify her life. She moved into a smaller apartment, cut down on unnecessary bills, kept just one credit card, and cancelled all the subscriptions she wasn't using. She told me, I used to dread opening the mail. Now I open every letter with a clear head and a calm heart. She even started a small jar labeled Freedom Fund, where she occasionally puts a $20 bill. It reminds her that she's in charge of her money, not the other way around. What Mrs. Henderson did wasn't magic. It was a choice, a quiet, conscious decision to simplify her financial life so she could focus on living, not just survive. And here's the most crucial part. When your finances are simple, you need fewer people to manage. You don't have to call your son every time a bill comes. You don't have to wait for a relative to explain the fine print. You can handle it yourself. You are the captain. So, if your financial clutter feels overwhelming right now, take a deep breath. You're not alone, and you don't need to be rich. You need to be predatory. You're not alone, and you don't need to be rich. You need to be clear. Cancel what you don't use. Consolidate what you can. Write down what comes in and what goes out. Make it simple enough that you could explain it to a friend over a cup of tea. Because in the end, peace isn't in the numbers, it's in the understanding. Now, before we move on, if you've been watching this video and finding these insights helpful, please take a moment to drop your name and the city you're watching from in the comments below. I always love to see messages from viewers from all over the country, from San Diego to Seattle, from Dallas to Des Moines. Your engagement truly helps us continue creating valuable and inspiring content. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I really encourage you to do so right now and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Your support truly means the world. Now let's keep going. Third, a stable wellness routine. After tissers, your strongest support isn't your children, your neighbors, or even your doctor. It's your daily health regimen. I'm not talking about trendy workouts or expensive supplements. I'm talking about small, consistent actions you repeat every single day to keep your body and mind in working order. This is the very self-reliance that creates genuine independence, because when your body feels stable, your soul feels the same. You see, many people only start to think about their health when something has already gone wrong. But that's like patching a leaky roof during a thunderstorm. You're reacting, not managing. You're living in crisis mode. A stable routine flips that dynamic. It gives you back control. When you take your morning walk, drink your water, stretch regularly, take your medication on time, and eat foods that give you energy rather than just filling you up, you create a rhythm of self-respect. And it's this very rhythm that carries you forward on days when you lack energy or motivation. There's a special power hidden in routine, especially as you age. On a psychological level, it reduces anxiety because it removes decision fatigue. You don't have to ask yourself every day, should I do this today? You just do it. Predictability creates stability, and stability breeds confidence. And confidence eliminates the feeling that you're a burden to anyone. It allows you to say, I am still capable, I am in motion, I am taking care of myself. Let me tell you about my neighbor, Arthur. He's an 81-year-old retired engineer. Every morning at 6 a.m., he brews a cup of Earl Grey tea, does 2 minutes of chair stretches, takes his morning medication, and goes for a 30-minute walk around his neighborhood, come rain or shine. He once told me, it's not about the exercise, it's about reminding myself every morning, I still matter. His words struck me because his routine isn't just about physical fitness, it's about identity, about connecting with that part of himself that refuses to give up, even as the years move forward. And here's something else you might not realize. When you have a routine, you need less help, not more. You're less likely to forget medication, less likely to fall, less likely to feel lost in the flow of the day. It's like paving a reliable path through a foggy forest. Even if everything around you seems unclear, your feet know the way because you walk it every single day. That's true support, and it depends only on you. Of course, there are tough days, aching joints, low energy, bad weather keeping you indoors, and that's completely normal. A routine can be flexible. The main thing isn't perfection, but consistency. A short walk around the house, deep breaths by the window, a glass of water before bed. These aren't grand feats, but together they become a safety net that supports, sustains, and carries you forward with dignity. So, if you feel stuck or your routine has slipped, start small. One habit, one action, because every time you take care of yourself, you prove that you are your best, most caring helper. And that's a kind of support no one can ever take away from you. Fourth, emotional resilience. If there's one form of support that becomes increasingly invaluable with age, it's not money, and it's not even perfect health, emotional resilience. Because when your emotions are strong, you can weather almost anything, loneliness, loss, setbacks, and even the disappointments that sometimes come from family. Emotional resilience is the ability to sit in quiet solitude and not feel empty. It's the ability to face difficulties and not feel like they are destroying you. By your 70s, life has likely thrown more than a few losses your way. A spouse passing, children growing distant, health declining. And the most common mistake is to think that emotional strength means never feeling sad. But that's not it at all. Emotional resilience is the capacity to feel deeply, yet not drown in those feelings. It's the ability to let pain pass through you, but not allow it to take root. This kind of strength isn't born from pretending everything's fine, but from an inner voice that says, yes, this hurts, but and every time you do that, every time you don't run from the pain, but simply sit with it, you become less afraid of what the future holds. This is power, this is freedom. You don't heap your suffering onto others, you learn to hold it within yourself without breaking under its weight. Let me share a story with you. There's a wonderful woman, Maria, who is 30 years old. 5 years ago, she lost her husband and now lives alone in her charming little cottage in Malibu. I once asked her, what helps you cope with the tough days? She replied, every evening I light a candle. Not because I'm religious, but because it reminds me, I'm still here. Sometimes I cry, sometimes I laugh, but every evening I tell myself, you lived through this day. It's a small habit, her way of honoring her pain without letting it consume her. That's resilience. Emotional resilience isn't just about surviving major tragedies, it's also about navigating appointments. When a child doesn't call, when a friend moves far away, when you suddenly realize you can't do what you once could. If you crumble every time something changes, life becomes too painful to truly enjoy. But when you possess emotional strength, you gain freedom. You are no longer dependent on others' decisions or the world's unpredictable shifts. You are stable because you choose how to react. From a psychological standpoint, emotional resilience rewires your brain. It helps your thoughts slow down, teaches your nervous system not to overreact, and builds the confidence that you can handle uncertainty and be okay. And in older age, when so much becomes uncertain, this is one of the most precious gifts you can give yourself. If you're wondering how to cultivate emotional resilience, it all starts with mindfulness. Talk to yourself with kindness. Allow yourself to feel, but don't let emotions control you. Find small anchors, write your thoughts in a journal, take a walk in a peaceful park, listen to your favorite music, and often remind yourself you've already survived everything that seemed impossible. This is not a setback, this is strength. So yes, family may drift, health may falter, but if your emotional core is strong, you will still be a person with a clear gaze, a calm heart, and the inner knowing that you are more than enough just as you are. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please type the number 4 in the comments below so I know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now and hit that bell to catch our next video. Your support empowers us to keep creating important and uplifting content. Now, let's keep moving with a personal code of values. There is something profoundly powerful about having your own distinct set of values. There is, especially after tears, when everything around you changes, when people let you down and the future feels uncertain. Your values become your internal. They tell you who you are, what matters to you, and how you want to live, regardless of what others do or think. Many older adults lose their bearings because they've spent their entire lives living up to others' expectations. They were good parents, loyal employees, caring spouses. But when those roles fade, the question arises, what now? This is where your personal code steps in. It says, this is who I am, and this is how I live, no matter who is watching. A strong personal code might include principles like honesty, kindness, responsibility, humility, self-respect. These aren't flashy. They won't impress others, but they don't need to. They are important only to you. That's where the power lies. When you live by your values, you no longer need external approval. Stop seeking validation. You're no longer thrown off balance when someone disagrees with you because your peace of mind isn't dependent on others. Let me tell you about George. I met him when he was just past Bashi, living in a quiet retirement community in Santa Barbara. He once told me, I have 5 rules. I always tell the truth. I don't waste food. I return everything I borrow. I forgive quickly, and I go to bed with a clear conscience. That's it. Every single day, he lives by these. He's not wealthy, and he doesn't have a large family, but he walks through life with a quiet dignity that is rare today. Why? Because he knows exactly who he is. His values keep him anchored. From a psychological perspective, a personal code reduces feelings of regret. It simplifies choices. You don't lie awake at night agonizing over whether you did the right thing, because you already know what's right for you. Je pauze tussen bepaals dus push for panic, but the inner resilience. It also builds inner resilience. When life throws difficulties your way, and it will, you don't panic. You ask yourself, what do my values tell me about this? And that becomes your steady ground. In fact, research in the psychology of aging shows that those who live by consistent internal principles feel more satisfied, experience less anxiety, and maintain mental clarity longer. Why? Because clarity brings peace. When there is an inner thread in your life, a thread of integrity, it keeps you grounded. But here's what's even more important. Your values are your values. No one else has to understand them. You don't need to explain them to anyone. You simply need to live them. That's what makes them truly powerful. Whether it's waking up early to greet the sunrise, refusing to gossip, being generous even if you have little, or maintaining a curious mind about the world. Whatever values resonate deeply with your soul, hold on to them. Let them guide you forward. Because when you can look in the mirror at Tischer War Batschuwend, I have lived a life true to my convictions. That is true success. That is genuine self-respect. And no one, not your children, not society, not even time itself, can ever take that away from you. This is support that never fades, because it lives within you. Ultimately, our entire journey isn't about being remembered by everyone, it's about being at peace with ourselves. A personal code gives you that peace. It doesn't shout, it doesn't brag, but it holds you quietly, faithfully, when everything else shifts. Final thoughts. As we get older, we increasingly ponder who is truly by our side. When the lights dim, some relationships grow quieter, and it's not always the ones we expected. Family, friends, even our own bodies can sometimes let us down over time. But that doesn't mean we're left with nothing. In fact, the older we become, the clearer we realize that some of the most reliable pillars in life have always been within us. They were just waiting for us to identify them and start leaning on. Perhaps it's that quiet strength found in everyday habits, that rhythm that tells your body and mind you are safe, you are grounded. Or maybe it's the joy derived from simple pursuits that make every hour feel meaningful, even when no one else is around. These aren't just hobbies, they are lifelines connecting us to ourselves and our purpose. We also talked about physical self-care. Sometimes, simply maintaining the strength in your legs and eating a balanced diet is enough to stay independent. It's a truth that's not always easy to hear, but it's precisely what gives us the most control over how we age. Self-care isn't vanity, it's wisdom. We also discussed the importance of keeping your mind sharp, being curious, engaged, alive in a world of ideas and changes. As long as your mind is growing, you remain relevant and flexible. You don't fade, you adapt, you change, you even continue to surprise yourself. And perhaps the quietest yet most powerful support of all is having a personal code, a system of values that defines who you are, regardless of who comes or goes from. This is your compass, this is your armor. This is what allows you to age with dignity and leave with peace in your soul. So what does all of this mean? It means that the most reliable support system after tears in a person, it's a mindset. It's a way of living, deeply rooted in habits, beliefs, and actions that sustain you, no matter what happens in the world. It's the ability to become your own anchor, because when you can stand confidently alone, you are never truly lonely. Such inner strength doesn't just comfort, it liberates. And now, a small challenge for you. After this video ends, take a moment to reflect. Which of these pillars are already present in your life, and which do you want to start cultivating from today? Don't be afraid to start small. Great changes are born from one quiet decision made deep within your heart. Thank you for being with us today. We would love to hear. Please leave a comment. Tell us what you learned today and how you plan to apply it in your thoughts are important to us. We read all comments and they inspire us to keep going. If you found this video helpful and enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with others. Your support helps us continue creating valuable and inspiring content. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.